When Big Boy and Andre were still two young rappers looking to get put on, they had a chance encounter with Rico Wade, one-third of the Atlanta production team Organized Noise. The duo's albums would heavily involve the Dungeon family, with Organized Noise making up the bulk of the production. In an interview with Creative Loafing, Big Boy described the recording session for the OutKast and Wu-Tang collaboration. As you would expect when you have three of the greatest rappers of all time together in the studio, there was a lot of good energy in the air that day. And Big Boy said, "That was the first time I had ever been in the booth with a nigga when he was rapping. Ray was about to do his verse, and he was like, 'Come on God, get in the booth.' I'm like, 'Get in the booth with you?' He said, 'Man, that's how we do it. Let me get that energy. Come in here with me.' So he was doing his verse, and we were just passing the Hennessy back and forth. The cup was spilling shit. Nigga's necklace was dangling, that's what you hear, like cling cling and all kind of shit. There was so much liquor spilled in the booth from him just doing his verse. With Wu-Tang being the biggest thing coming out of the East Coast, not under the Bad Boys banner, and Raekwon being a certified New York rapper, his appearance on Skew It on the Bar B was a defining moment for Southern hip-hop. That shit blew me the fuck up in the South, Chef told Complex. When I tell you everywhere I go, clubs, everybody in the South knew that record, and it wound up being a situation like Nas being on Verbal Intercourse, now Ray on Skew It on the Bar B in the South. So, while they blew up, I blew up too. So everything looked like a real chess move, but it was still coming from the heart. It was nothing that was premeditated. This is how we chill from 93 till. When it comes to 90s rap records, 93 Till Infinity is probably one of the most iconic tracks that comes to mind. It's certainly one of the best hip-hop title tracks ever. Released by West Coast group Souls of Mischief in between Dr. Dre's The Chronic and Snoop's Doggy Style, the album was understandably a sleeper, peaking at number 85 on the Billboard 200. The title track was a moderate success though, reaching number 72 on the Billboard Hot 100, and has gone on to become a staple of classic 90s hip-hop records. In an oral history interview with Spin, the group revealed that the title track was actually originally titled 91 Till Infinity. They just worked on it for so long that 91 eventually became 93. "We were in high school just making songs, making demos, trying to get them to send out to people. And it was just a concept for a song," Plus told Spin. "It had a whole different beat. We never really laid the song down, but we wrote verses. Time moved forward, and we were working on the album, and we were like, we should do a 92 Till Infinity. But the album didn't come out till 93. So that was that. The other beat was slower, more somber. This one was more upbeat. Since its release, 93 Till Infinity has been heralded and sampled by countless artists, including Freestyle Over by J. Cole and Kanye West, the latter titling his version with Consequence, 03 Till Infinity. When you talk about the greatest Wu-Tang solo albums, there are usually two albums that are always in the running. Raekwon's widely influential, mafioso masterpiece, Only Built for Cuban Links, and Jeezy's Liquid Swords, both which happen to have dropped in the same year. From the album's opener Liquid Swords, which also happens to be one of the best rap title tracks ever, to the metaphorical labels, to the crowd-pleasing banger, Fourth Chamber, to Shadow Boxin', which features an absolutely incredible Method Man guest verse. There's something on here for any hip-hop head. For Jeezy personally, his favorite track off Liquid Swords is Duel of the Iron Mike, which also features Old Dirty Bastard, Masta Killa, and Inspector Deck. Jeezy said, "This might be my favorite track on the album. I like how I delivered on this one, and recording sounds when we perform. I love Rez's beat. I remember writing to it and that it took me a while because I was trying different things. I remember being so happy after Old Dirty blessed the track. I love how the recording sounds too. When we perform this song live, the music gets real low for Deck's part, and then it comes in real loud, and it still always gets me hype. I also love the skit at the beginning. I just love that shit." Before 50 Cent was television executive producer Curtis Jackson, before he sold 30 million albums worldwide, before he made $100 million off the vitamin water deal. He was a rapper from South Jamaica, Queens, trying to break into the music industry. Under the tutelage of Jam Master Jay, who taught him how to structure his songs and add melodies to his hooks, 50 managed to polish up his rapping skills and make progress in the rap game. For his debut appearance on record, 50 linked up with ONYX, who were also from South Jamaica, Queens, and were signed to Jam Master Jay Records. Thanks to the 3 hit singles, Throw Yo Guns, Slam, and Shifty, off their debut, ONYX went platinum straight out the gate, and their sophomore album managed to go gold. On their third album, Shut 'Em Down, ONYX put 50 Cent on React, the project's third single. 50 Cent said, "I started writing lyrics full-time in 1997. I met Jam Master Jay from Run DMC, and he had his label, which would take people on and develop them until they were ready to go to a major. Jay taught me how to count bars and when the chorus should start one and stop. And I kept practicing. Sometimes hard work beats talent. I wrote all the time, and so I got better and better." Walk up to any hip-hop head and say these lyrics, visualizing the realism life in actuality, and 10 times out of 10, they're going to reply with, "Fuck who's the baddest, a person's status depends on salary." AZ rapping on "Life's a Bitch" is such a moment of hip-hop perfection that it's hard to believe that it was the very first time he ever recorded a verse. Growing up in East New York, Brooklyn during the 70s and 80s, hip-hop was just a way of life for AZ. "I just knew it was the life, and I was part of that life as far as going to the parties and park jams, being a little knucklehead. When got a little older and Rakim and Kool G Rap and Kane came out, they were wearing the clothes we wore and speaking the language we spoke. It was just a part of nature." As he got older, he started making a name of himself as being super nice on the mic. Around the same time, another rapper by the name of Nasty Nas from Queensbridge was making his come up. The associates of both rappers thought it'd be a good idea to connect them. "Me and Nas were introduced on the phone," AZ recalled. "Back then, there was a lot of comparison of who's the best in the boroughs, and my friend knows his friend, and it's just like we're all on the phone. And there was a couple of other people on the phone, just talking, and we met like that. So actually, we spoke for like a year by phone, before we actually saw each other. And he was recording, and I had no idea about the studio process, and all of that was just coming through for support. And that's how that Life's a Bitch record took place. It wasn't premeditated. It wasn't long before Nas started the recording process for his seminal Illmatic, and AZ started tagging along. The crazy thing is the Brooklyn rapper was just showing up to studio sessions to show love and support. There were no plans for him to get on the album." AZ said, "I think we both held it and balanced that record out, because without him, that record wouldn't have been what it was. Without me, that record wouldn't have been what it was. We was speaking the same language, but coming from different angles again. It just meshed so perfect that it got our point across. It got our point across so beautiful with that harmonic balance that really reached the target that we was aiming for." It's crazy to think that a hip-hop artist who now boasts a catalog of 13 solo albums, 4 collaboration projects, 1 live release, and plenty more, once considered retirement after his debut. It might be hard to imagine it now, but that's exactly what Jay-Z had planned after the release of 1996, Reasonable Doubt. After getting rejected by every single major label they approached, Jay-Z and his partners, Damon Dash and Kareem Burke, decided to create their own independent record label, Rockefeller Records, to distribute Reasonable Doubt. Distributed Priority Records, and featuring an all-star cast of producers DJ Premier, Skew, Big Jazz, Clark Kent, as well as a notable feature from Biggie, who was one of the hottest rappers in the game at the time. Reasonable Doubt was a critical success, but didn't perform well commercially. However, thanks to the Foxy Brown-assisted hit single, Ain't No Nigga, Rockefeller caught the eye of Def Jam, who entered in a 50-50 partnership and distribution deal with the independent label. Jay-Z said, "With the first album, because nobody in the game has ever made just one classic album and then not made another, My intention was to do just that, but that was at a time when we were getting distributed by Priority. We had to move, so when we went to Def Jam, they were like, okay, we'll do this deal with y'all, but we do need 2 albums from Jay-Z as an artist. So they turned out to be the Volume 1 and Volume 2. They were both completed as part of that deal.